Hi there, my name's Leah. I'm one of the junior doctors working in the GP surgery today. Is it okay if I just check your full name and date of birth, please?
Yeah, of course. It's Camilla Weldon, and it's the 3rd of May 1977.
Great, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Is it okay if I call you Camilla?
Of course.
Brilliant. So how can I help you today?
Yeah, so my father, he's had quite a significant stroke.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. The doctors did say that that was due to his smoking.
Okay.
I am a smoker. My partner is really worried that this will happen to me, so he's encouraged me to come and talk to you about just ways of giving up smoking.
Okay, so it sounds like maybe it was your partner that was quite concerned?
Yes, I am genuinely pleased to be here and get some advice. It's just I have tried before and it has not been successful.
Okay, I understand that. Do you think perhaps we could talk a bit about your smoking in general and then see where we can go from there?
Yes, of course, yes.
Okay. So can I just ask, how long have you been smoking for?
So I started smoking when I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you smoked ever since?
Yes.
Okay. And how many, is it cigarettes you smoke?
Yeah.
How many cigarettes per day roughly do you smoke?
So when I started, when I was 18, I was smoking 20 a day.
Okay.
But when I had children, I reduced that down to 10 a day. So my children are 16 and 14.
Okay.
So
For a little
I
while.
have, yeah, but I have maintained 10 a day since my children were born.
Okay, that's really good. How did you find dropping it down? Did you manage that okay?
I managed that okay. I'm really careful around the children, and that was a big motive. But just the stress of work, I haven't really been able to stick at no cigarettes permanently.
Okay, so it was work stress that seems to have been interrupting every time you've stopped previously.
Absolutely.
Okay. And is there anything else that sort of triggered you to go back to smoking, or is it just the work?
I would say it's really just work. Yeah, stress at work.
Okay. And what was it that made you want to give up in the first place? Was it something related to your children, perhaps?
Yeah, initially it was just, you know, I know smoking's not good for anyone, and also people around smoke. So that was a big incentive. And I am very careful. I don't smoke around the children even now. Okay. I go outside. So that was the incentive then. But, you know, I just with my father having a stroke, you're made aware, aren't you, of the consequences. Mm-hmm. So that is a motivation.
Absolutely. And when you've tried to give up smoking before, what products have you used, or have you used anything?
Yeah, I tried the nicotine patch.
Okay.
But to be honest, it didn't really give a strong enough burst to reduce that craving.
Okay. Were there particular times that you felt like you needed that burst, or was it just all the time it didn't feel enough?
Really just going back to work, you know, if it was a particular stressful meeting or there was a load of work piling up, it just didn't seem to take off that craving.
Right, okay, okay. So potentially there's a few things we can think about there, which would give you a bit of kind of smoking cessation advice.
Okay.
I think it'd also be helpful to understand a bit more about your general health, if that's okay.
Of course, yeah.
So thank you, that was really helpful to get to understand a little bit more about your general health. And I think I agree with your partner and with yourself as well. It sounds like it's definitely sensible to try to stop smoking given the risks associated with it. So going forwards, it would be quite helpful for me to understand your thoughts on how the smoking is affecting you day to day.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So in the morning, I do feel quite chesty. I'm pretty certain that's down to smoking. But also, I know when I'm helping the children in the morning to get ready for school, if I haven't had a chance to get out and have a cigarette, I am quite snappy with them and quite short-tempered, and I'm certain that is obviously to do with smoking.
Okay. And other than that, is there anything that's particularly worrying you about your smoking?
Yeah, I mean, obviously my father, having a stroke, that does worry. It could at some point happen to me.
Before we go on to discuss some of your options, I just wanted to check, is there anything that you particularly don't want us to cover today, or any options you don't want to discuss?
I'm really, really not keen on trying e-cigarettes.
Okay.
I've got, as I said, 2 teenage children, and I know that is a real thing amongst teenage children, and I don't really want to do that because I think it could encourage them to do so, and I really don't want that to happen. So I'd rather stay away from that option, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
And I'm sure, as you say, you're already aware of some of the risks, so particularly the stroke that your father has unfortunately had. But I suppose it's not just the stroke that is the risk. There's other things as well. So when you mentioned about your worry with the chestiness that you're feeling in the morning, so smoking, as I'm sure you're aware, does have quite a lot of problems related to your lungs. So not just the chestiness and making your asthma worse, but it can also cause kind of other long-term conditions like COPD. So that's a problem that really affects your breathing in the much longer term for your lungs. It could also increase your risk of lung cancer as well.
Yeah.
And in terms of the stroke, that's related to the blood vessels. So smoking doesn't only cause problems in the blood vessels related to stroke, but it can also cause problems with the blood vessels in the heart and potentially leading to heart attacks. And also the blood vessels get into your kind of fingers and toes and further down into your legs, which can cause lots of problems with kind of wound healing and blood supply to your legs further down the line.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
All things to kind of motivate us even more to want to stop. And I think it's great that you're here. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to sort of talk about some of your options and maybe explore things a little bit further.
Definitely, thank you.
So just to check before I explain some of those options, I just wanted to make sure that you don't have any questions or concerns so far.
No, I'm really happy with, everything's very clear so far, thank you.
Okay, so there's 2 sort of types of support that we can offer you. Some of those might be medications, so kind of similar to the nicotine patch that you've tried before, but some of them are not medications and just trying to offer you support to help you succeed this time around.
Hopefully, yes.
So in terms of the medications, I think it sounds like last time you've tried to use the patch, it didn't really do what you wanted it to. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
And it sounds like from what you've told me, you need something that's got a bit more of a sort of a quick action when you're having those particularly stressful times.
Ideally, yes.
Okay. Have you heard of nicotine sprays or nicotine chewing gum before? Have you ever heard of anybody using those?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So it does a very similar thing to the nicotine patch, but instead of providing sort of a low-level background amount of nicotine, it just has that quick burst for when you need it. So that might be something to consider.
Definitely,
Good.
yes.
And then from the other kind of selection of support things we can offer you, we know that it's really, really difficult to give up smoking, and so the fact that you're here to try again is fantastic.
Thank you.
But actually we know that people are a lot more successful with trying to give up if they have support from somebody else. So we could offer you a sort of a telephone support appointment where somebody could call you and just check in on how you're doing if you think that would be helpful.
That's great, that's amazing, thank you. Yeah,
okay, good. And then obviously lastly, I would like to check in with you as well and just see how you're getting on.
You.
So if it's okay with you, I'd quite like to arrange sort of a follow-up. Just I can call you via telephone sometime next week just to see how you're doing and check in with you sort of after the first week or so. Do you think that would be okay?
That's just really amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Okay. So I think that sounds like quite a good combination of things. What I'm quite keen to get the ball rolling is to pick a date that works for you to say, you know, today's the day I'm going to start stopping, as it were.
No, thank you so much. I think, well, definitely, it would make sense to start tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday when I finish work.
Okay.
I've got the weekend to, you know, no paperwork, stress-free, so I could sort of just get a good start. Yeah, I think that would be a hopeful, positive, good chance of a good start if I do it then.
That sounds really good, and tomorrow's definitely a good start, not trying to put it off too much.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And do you think you'd feel comfortable to tell your friends and family about that kind of stop date, that tomorrow's the day?
Yeah, I mean, obviously my partner is very supportive, obviously encouraged me to come, but I think I'm quite excited to tell the children. That's a big motivator, so I will. And it's fantastic that, you know, you can check in. Would it sort of, how about maybe then sort of at the end of next week? Because it, you know, it might just get me an incentive to get through the week. Do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good. I can book you in to call you next Friday, see how you're getting on.
It's certainly an incentive.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
That's okay. So just to kind of think through that next week then, before I ring you on Friday, can you think of any kind of challenges that you might face during that week, and how you're going to try and overcome those to keep up with the success of not smoking?
Yeah, well, certainly I mean, I do sometimes have a couple of cigarettes in an evening, but that's more habit out of, you know, so I think I can, you know, manage that. But certainly I know it'll happen during a very stressful moment at work. But I think the spray or the gum seems a lot more hopeful if it can give me a more intense, quicker sort of burst.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I'll
like you
have
say,
that to hand.
when you're having those kind of cravings at work and you feel that stress coming on, good to have something that's close by that you know you can reach for instead of a cigarette.
Definitely.
And have that as your sort of action plan if that difficult situation arises.
Definitely.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Absolutely. I'm
Perfect.
sure it'll help massively.
Brilliant. So I guess the remaining hurdle is just to make sure that in that moment of stress that you don't have cigarettes to reach for at all, because it takes away that option.
Yeah.
So what we do suggest is actually just removing all of the cigarettes from your home, from your kind of bag, from anywhere that you could easily get hold of one, just so that it takes away that temptation, and that makes people much more likely to be successful in stopping. Do you think that's something you would be happy to do?
Yeah, I will. Purely, you know, I might run out the shop and buy some, but knowing I've got that spray, I feel will yeah, make that possible.
Okay, that sounds
Yes,
really
I
great.
will.
Good. Brilliant.
Yes, I will.
Fantastic. That sounds good. And it sounds like we've got a plan that hopefully you feel like it is going to work for you. But as I say, it is difficult, and there will certainly be times where you find it really hard. But hopefully there's lots of support there. So it sounds like your partner and your children will be really happy that you're giving it a go again. And there'll be the telephone appointments where the smoking support service will ring you to check in on you. But also there'll be the appointment with me next week to see how you're getting on.
I think it seems that it's, it's more realistic that it could be helpful, but I'm definitely willing to try it. I'm really grateful.
Fantastic, that's really good to hear. What I'll do is I'll just give you a couple of leaflets to take away with you, just so that you've got that bit of information if you want to have a read around things, and just some of your other options as well, in case anything else does interest you. And then you can always kind of ask me about those when I speak to you again on Friday. But in the meantime, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Have you got any other questions that you want to ask before we finish today?
No, you've been really helpful, and I'm really grateful for those suggestions and that support. I really feel confident and happy to try it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, best of luck, and I'll speak to you on Friday.
Thank you.